All right. Hello, my name is David Uresti. I'm a student at Fort Hays University and currently enrolled in the geography program. My research involves the social response to technological change in the agriculture sector in Sub-Saharan Africa. In this presentation, I will introduce evidence of the positive social response of technological change, environmental issues, technology transfer, and appropriate technology in the Sub-Saharan Africa regions. The continent Africa is divided into two geospatial regions by an imaginary border called the Sub-Saharan Transition Zone. North of the zone is considered northern and western Africa and is dry and arid. South of the zone is considered central, eastern, and southern Africa. Most of my research is focused south of the transition zone. Environmental issues this region faces are food sustainability, farmers, also called smallholders, health, and the destruction of ecosystems. It is estimated the population growth will be 1.3 million by 2025. Agriculture accounts for 60% of the workforce, and the health of the smallholders is crucial to maintain food sustainability. With the overuse of synthetic fertilizers, this causes health risks to the smallholders and the environment. Water runoff from irrigation or rain causes destruction to nearby ecosystems. The runoff contains high amount of nitrogen released from the synthetic fertilizers. Technology transfer helps combat the environmental impacts in this region. Drones, telecommunications, and biotechnology are transfers of technologies. Drones are commercially available, help the smallholders generate prescription maps to control the overuse of synthetic fertilizers. It is crucial for the smallholders and the environment. Year after year, cell phone usage has increased to almost 20% in sub-Saharan Africa. Smallholders can relay information to other smallholders in other communities via cell phones in order to gain insight concerning potential crop diseases. Biotechnology in the form of GMOs are increasing in the use in sub-Saharan Africa and brings food sustainability to the forefront of this region. All these technologies combined are considered appropriate technologies for sub-Saharan Africa. This chart is the evidence I explained earlier. The increase in yield from 38% to 55% happened when biotechnology, high-yielding variety in the form of GMO seeds, was introduced. This shows the positive response of the introduction of technology and combat the environmental issues sub-Saharan Africa faces. A Nigerian farmer, Sam Ogbo, was asked why he thinks drones are such a big point of discussion in the context of African farming. He stated he believes it is because there is a gap to bridge between emerging drone technology and the education about where it fits into the African agriculture sphere. In the article, African Drones Applications for Africa Agriculture, Part 1, the First Lady of Nigeria, Dr. Abdul Razak, states this technology of unmanned aircrafts can be used for collecting valuable information in the agriculture sector to avoid damage and to maximize yield.
All right, well done, David.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's gonna be a tough one, tough act to follow. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Damon Mendoza, and I studied through the appropriate technology in England. As technology teaches, entertains, it clothes us, shelters, transports us. For good or evil, it's embedded in our daily lives. We're consumed with technology. Technology has a great impact on our society. The country of England is no exception. They too encounter the pros and cons that inherently accompany technological change and the social impact to its citizens. England is a first world country just like the United States, and they have similar challenges when it comes to technology, but they also benefit from all the problems that technology helps to solve. If you're like me, the recent significant event that the rest of the world was able to witness from the sidelines, with which technology had tremendous social impact, is in England, was Brexit. The citizens of the United Kingdom voted for a withdrawal from the European Union. When appropriate technology innovation is discussed, what stands apart in the United Kingdom is the global exposure of Brexit in 2020. An article from The Guardian in 2019 explains how Brexit Party won the Euro elections on social media with simple, negative messages to persuade the older voters. As citizens of the United States, we too can acknowledge the influence of social media and how it impacts elections. The internet has certainly provided exciting new possibilities, yet for many internet-based innovations, there seems to always be some form of threat agent or some form of evil, such as misinformation. We have the responsibility to analyze the information, investigate the source, and avoid the trap of blindly believing all the available and persuasive material. As outsiders, we're able to read about the issues and monitor the historical events through the various media outlets and social media. In essence, technology innovation was at the core of Brexit to influence the United Kingdom citizens to vote for the withdrawal from the European Union. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Madison Crowder, and I'm doing my final presentation over in Germany. So my topic last slide was the social response to change, and how well they adapted to change. So I used the coronavirus pandemic as a good example. I found many different takes on this. As with anyone, they'd have challenges with working from home. Until that time, they said that the internet kind of wasn't with them, and they had issues with that. So they didn't really adapt to change as fast with that. However, as far as the COVID-19 vaccines go, they were among the first people to develop the vaccines and or the test, I'm sorry, pretty rapidly. As far as the environmental issues go, there are quite a bit of greenhouse gases that encompass Germany, but they are currently working on bills of legislation to change this, and they are wanting to begin to use more renewable energy sources to help with this, as well as they use quite a bit of pesticides currently. According to a study done by the European Environmental Agency, there was 100 plus pesticides used at one time, and that could be a big issue for environmentalists, just because the pesticides could then run off into the rivers and lakes and could contaminate drinking waters as well as the soil for future farm use. My next topic that I was going to talk about is the appropriate technology. So I describe this as with COVID again. I did not find any issues of this currently or in the past. However, the good example would be the parasite runoff. So if that was an issue, so that could pesticide runoff could in turn go into the rivers, and while it may be doing quite a lot of good, increasing yields and helping there be better yields for farmers, it could also be harming the environment and the community. And then the slide before that, let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. The compare and contrast we'll discuss at the end. So there's that, and then my sources are on the last slide. Thank you.
Good deal.
Good job. Good job.
Good job. All right, my name is Trevor James, and I'm a sociology major in this technology class. And the country I'll be discussing is China. So technology has basically altered our lives in positive and negative ways over the years. And China has been an emerging tech giant. And a lot of that can be credited to their competition with the United States. They kind of run neck and neck with the United States as far as trying to keep up with technology and trying to one up, the other. And so this country is making gains in 4 broad categories of innovation, including manufacturing, digital platforms and associated markets, app utilization to help solve social problems, basic science R&D in the fields such as computing and biotechnology. Over the years, China, I'd say in the 1990s, just to give you a kind of idea of how much they've invested in developing their technology, in the early 1990s, China's annual budget spending for helping with their technology, helping develop technology, was $2.21 billion. And that was in the early 1990s. And as of 2020, that budget has increased to $378 billion. And so basically they've surpassed, in 2013, they surpassed Japan. And kind of, like I said with the earlier, right behind the United States in, at investing in their technology. And one thing I kind of want to look to is the pandemic and how it's helped further push their technology. Chinese elementary school students are required to have 2 hours of science, technology, and entertainment instructions per week. And that's a minimum. And ultimately, the much bigger picture is they're innovating technology to where it's, you've got e-dictionary pens, you've got robots, you got educational tablets, and you have smart lights. And let's see. They've got so much technology advancement, especially since the pandemic. And one instance is they have technology that simulates sunlight spectrum at 10 a.m. to ensure the students enjoy a full day and get that energy from the sunlight. And at night, it also reduces that light so that it enables them to know that, bedtime's up on them and it's time to, settle down and get ready for rest, since they don't have that everyday in and out of school type of thing going. Something else that kind of stands out, and this is kind of, like I said, I think we all stand to benefit from all this technology, like I said, with the United States and China. Joe Biden kind of came out and made a statement as far as China goes, and he also did go ahead and throw funding, $330 billion packet towards the U.S. to help us continue to push further. And basically what he kind of compared it to is saying that basically the battle between the U.S. and China as far as technology goes is to see who wins the 21st century as far as the technology goes and the advancements and whatnot. And some of the technology, one thing that stood out to me during my research was that China has it's the world's largest floating solar power plant. And basically this solar power plant, they committed $698 billion to this solar power plant because of the benefits to the environment. And basically this power plant, this thing brings in enough power to where it can power 15,000 homes. I don't have my slideshow now, but like I said, there's a lot of different things in there, and all my references and whatnot are in that slideshow. So that'll be the end of my presentation.
All right. Yeah, I can really appreciate how big of a major player that China is in the world.
Yes.
They've really taken over as a world leader. And David, kudos to you for covering what's considered a third world country, whereas England. I cover England, and they're another first world country just like us. So kudos to you for covering a third world country.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I noticed too. I mean, China, they do huge amount of biotechnology there, And
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of the contrast that I have with, with mine. One thing that China does is they educate their kids in the education system, which Africa does not. Everything their education system has is in the communities themselves, from the farmers and the smallholders. So, and then same thing with Germany. I love how you hit on the pesticides, the water runoff that has to do with the greenhouse gases
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Environmental
And
issues
with
for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and then with England, the cell phones, it's a big major player. It is pretty much becoming the forefront in Africa. They depend on it now with the internet and all that other stuff. But with you hitting on the misinformation, that's kind of the contrast of what I see. So
Yeah, I think that Germany, England, and China are the more like I guess first world countries, and they have a lot in common. And I can see too with Africa how the pesticides and that could be an issue similar to that because they would want those shields as they're trying to feed the growing population. So I feel like that could be a um, somewhat similarity with our issues.
All right, group. Good job today. Appreciate everybody's time.
yeah, thank you.